Certainly frustrated with, some of the injuries that have taken place, and he wants to be out there and excited to get him back and hopefully can keep everybody healthy and keep the line going.
Why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
Yeah, he's worked his tail off. He's really putting a lot of work, as all those guys are. But you could tell on the mental side of the game and learning the system and calling it and having that rhythm to it. He's put a lot of work and time and effort into that. And then
you could feel it the moment Tommy Reese walked in the door. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't gradual. It was immediate. The entire building in Berea you shifted. I've been covering this team long enough to know when something real is brewing. And folks, this one's different. You can almost smell it in the air. The tension, the energy, the anticipation. It's like someone finally cracked open a window in a room that's been sealed shut for years. And it all started with one sentence. One decision that told you everything you needed to know about what was coming next. Reese walks in, takes a look around, and says, "Get Sanders ready." That's it. That's the moment everything changed. He didn't hedge. He didn't talk about evaluations or patience or developmental timelines. He didn't wrap it up in coach speak or play politics. He said it plainly, like a man who already knows what he's looking at. Get him ready. That's not just football strategy. That's a message, a statement. And make no mistake, everyone in that locker room heard it loud and clear. Because when a new man steps into power, and his first order of business is to elevate Sanders from afterthought to priority, that's not an accident. That's not convenience. That's conviction. It was like you could feel the Browns take their first real breath of the season. Practice tempo? Faster huddles. Crisper. The vibe? Lighter, hungrier, sharper. Reese wasn't just running plays. He was running a message. The future starts now. And here I am trying to do my best to gather all the information I can for you and share it with you. Please leave your likes and comments, and I would be grateful if you subscribed. Let's continue, and I've got to say it. Watching that first practice after the announcement, it felt different. Sanders didn't just look like a rookie fighting for scraps. He looked like a man stepping into destiny. The reads were clean, the footwork was tight, and that ball, my God, that ball was jumping out of his hand. Zip, precision, confidence. The kind of throws that make teammates glance at each other like, okay, this might actually be happening. And here's the part that hit me the hardest. The way Reese talked about him in that first press conference. He didn't tiptoe around the subject. He didn't play politics or offer backhanded compliments. He said the quiet part out loud. Sanders has been putting in the work. He praised the mental sharpness, the command of the playbook, the rhythm, the leadership, the poise. He talked about how Sanders isn't just learning the system, he's living it, studying, asking questions, leading drills, watching film late. The man's been preparing like a starter since day one. And Reese, he sees that. He values that. See, that's what the last regime missed. They wanted control. They wanted order. But Reese wants results. He doesn't care about protecting egos or sticking to some pre-written plan. He cares about what he sees on the field. And what he sees in Sanders is something special. Look, the touchdowns aren't on the stat sheet yet. We all know that. But as Reese put it, production follows preparation. That's what separates the grinders from the gifted. Sanders isn't waiting for his moment. He's building it every single day. And that's what's been missing in Cleveland. Leadership with conviction. Now let's talk about Kevin Stefanski. Because this is where the story gets uncomfortable. While Reese is out here breathing life into the offense, Stefanski's still stuck defending his past decisions. Still talking about trusting the process. While the offense flatlines week after week, still pretending like the problems we're all watching unfold on Sundays aren't real. And then came the press conference. He's asked why Sanders hasn't been in the plans. And what's his answer? A back injury, come on, man. Really? A back injury? You mean the same guy who's been throwing lasers in practice all week? The same guy who's been working the film room like a veteran, staying late, leading drills, pushing his teammates? That's the one you're suddenly saying isn't healthy enough to play? That's not an explanation. That's a cover. That's a coach trying to protect an image, not a player. That's not leadership. That's self-preservation. Because let's be honest, this has never really been about injuries. It's about image. It's about pride. Stefanski's protecting his system, his reputation, his status quo. And the sad part is, fans see it. Reporters see it. The locker room sees it. You can't fool players. You can't fool the film. And you sure as hell can't fool a city like Cleveland. And now the cracks are starting to show. When Myles Garrett, the heartbeat of your defense, the soul of your locker room, starts speaking publicly about the offense, that's not noise. That's a warning shot. That's a leader saying, we can't keep doing this. And when that happens, when your defensive captain starts calling for change on the other side of the ball, you've crossed a line you can't walk back from. Because this isn't just about wins and losses anymore. It's about belief. It's about trust. And right now, Reese has it. Stefanski doesn't. Reese didn't come here to babysit the same mistakes. He came to fix what's broken. He came to listen to the players, to the tape, to the truth. He's walking into those meetings and saying, enough pretending. Let's start playing like we mean it. And he's not doing it with drama or ego. He's doing it with purpose. Meanwhile, Stefanski's still clinging to Dylan Gabriel like the rest of us can't see what's on the film. And look, I'll give Gabriel credit. The guy's got fight. He's got grit. But defenses have figured him out. You disguise pressure, you push him off platform, and the entire structure crumbles. That's not slander. That's reality. While Sanders sits there with the one thing this offense has been missing. Poise. The presence, the calm. The accuracy. You can see it in his footwork, in his timing, in his command of the huddle. The kid looks like he belongs, but somehow, Stefanski's the only one who can't see it. Or maybe he can. And that's exactly the problem, because sometimes a coach isn't afraid a player will fail. He's afraid the player will succeed and prove him wrong. But here's where Reese stands apart. He's not afraid. He's leaning into it. He's saying, let's see what this kid can do. He's giving Sanders the reps, the confidence, the tools. He's building something real. And when you build belief in a locker room, when players finally see direction and purpose again, that's when everything changes. That's when the offense starts humming. That's when the city starts believing again. That's when you stop being the same old Browns and start becoming something bigger. So here's the truth. Plain and simple, this isn't about potential anymore. It's about accountability. Stefanski's out of excuses. The team's out of patience. And Reese? He's out here proving that maybe, just maybe, Sanders was the answer all along. Because the way I see it, this isn't just a quarterback story. This is a franchise crossroads. And when Sanders finally takes that field, when he finally gets that shot, I'm telling you, Cleveland's identity is going to flip overnight. The offense is going to feel different. The energy is going to sound different. And the only thing that's going to look hurt is Kevin Stefanski's credibility. If you believe it's time for a new chapter in Cleveland, hit that like button right now. And drop SS100 in the comments if you're ready to see Sanders unleashed. Not as the backup, not as the project, but as the future of this franchise. Because I'm telling you, the fire's already lit. And this time, Cleveland might finally be ready to let it burn.